Get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies, Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dawes.
Hey, hey.
This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
Allow me to take you back in time. 3:30 p.m. yesterday. I'm sitting in my 1010XL office alongside Taylor Dahl, just like we're sitting here in the 1010XL studios as I come to you over the airwaves. Sans Lauren Brooks, who is on a little mini vacation this week. And as we're sitting there working with young intern Caleb, our content video producer, Trent Osborne, comes flying around the corner and simply screams, "Taylor!" And as soon as he said that, and before he could get the words Schefter out of his mouth, I had an idea. After we spent, at the minimum, I think, Taylor, 20 minutes yesterday making the argument, countering with Lauren Brooks, that we both believe that Ben Johnson was signed, sealed, and delivered and off to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chicago Bears, a team that I was told by a league source in early December, shortly after Matt Eberflus was relieved of his duties, that was the team that Ben Johnson and his camp had circled, that they had said that is where they want to be. And now he is the next head coach of the Chicago Bears, even without taking an in-person interview. And we had one viral moment here at 1010XL that will live in infamy forever.
Yeah, I told Trent that that'll be something that sticks in my head for a long time because I was not even paying attention whatsoever, and he comes around sprinting into the office to tell us that. But yeah, I was truly shocked, and like you said, you and I did have this conversation yesterday. I was fully convinced he was going to the Raiders. I just everything that I was hearing, and when it came to all the pieces, that all the things the Raiders were doing, that they were just kind of opening this door for Ben Johnson and to be just his place. And here's the home. Whatever you want to put in the home, we'll do it. And I was always afraid that the Bears wouldn't. Number one, I never thought George McCaskey would open the checkbook the way that he did. Although I did yesterday say that changed a little bit when they did call to ask about Mike Tomlin, because that, to me, did show that they were serious this time and were willing to spend money and were willing to do something big. I just still wasn't quite convinced because in the past it's been a Canadian Football League coach and Mark Trestman. It's been John Fox after he's been fired from 2 stops. Yes, even though they went to a Super Bowl, and then it just fell apart, and then you go and get John Fox, and then you get a Matt Nagy who nobody was really talking to, and he didn't even call plays in Kansas City, and then you get a Matt Eberflus who, kind of turned the Colts defense around, but was not many people were talking to him either. It was always those guys, so I just truly didn't think it was going to happen. Granted, I will say there were people on the Bears in the Bears world that were adamant that it was happening. Like they were adamant that they've heard he loves Caleb Williams. They were adamant that he had already said he'd work with Ryan Poles. There's been conversations that last year he wanted to come to Chicago and the Bears didn't fire Matt Eberflus then. And so there were a group of people that were like, nah, Ben Johnson wants to be in Chicago, and they never wavered from that. So credit to them for sticking through that, through all of the this and that's and things being thrown around and Tom Brady's and everything. But the one thing that I go back to is in November, when I was talking to a lot of people in the league, including a lot of people that are very connected in the Detroit organization, and they told me he does not want to work with Trent Baalke. And not in any facet. He doesn't care that maybe he'll push him to a different role and he won't be the general manager or whatever the case may be. He did not want to be in a building with Trent Baalke, is what I've heard.
That brings me to an interesting poll question that I think we should debut a little bit later in the program. We're lucky enough to have 2 hours with you here on this epic Cool Heating and Air Tuesday on Helmets and Heels. We are with you until 2 p.m. Be sure to check them out at epichvaservice.com. We'll debut that poll. We'll get back to the Jaguars head coaching search in just a little bit. But technically, Taylor Dahl, it is the day after the national championship, so we have to begin the program with this.
They're moving. Here they come.
Heavy pressure. Howard delivers downfield. And Smith. He's got it. Jeremiah Smith.
How on earth did future Cincinnati Bengals defensive coordinator Al Golden leave Jeremiah Smith on an island? You made the case, Taylor Dahl, yesterday that in terms of man for man, this Notre Dame cornerback defensive back room may be the only one in the country that had enough answers for the litany of playmakers that Ohio State trots out each and every game. But at the same time, Jeremiah Smith is, I think he's still 18. Maybe he's 19 years old by now. Dylan, double check that one for us. Point being, at this juncture, he is perhaps the most electric wide receiver in college football. You cannot leave that man alone one-on-one downfield in a one-score game. And that is exactly what we saw last night, which resulted in Ohio State's 34-23 triumph over Notre Dame in the national title game.
19 years old.
19. Okay, so he did 19.
Thanksgiving weekend.
He's 19. Cooper Flagg is now 18.
yeah.
So we can't really embellish
And the kid, what's it? The Georgia kid? He's 17. What is he?
Alabama's receiver.
Alabama's, yes,
Yeah,
Ryan,
Ryan Williams.
Ryan
Yes.
Williams is. I think he's 18 now.
Like, it's just so
They're
crazy
growing
to think
up before
about that.
our eyes.
I know.
Yeah, it's so sad. We
But
can't run with that.
bad mistake. I mean, I think that Al Golden had a lot of difficulties from the start trying to figure out how to cover this team. And I will say, I think a large portion of that is they had no pass rush. And when you aren't getting to the quarterback and you're giving Will Howard 5 minutes to make a decision and for routes to develop and guys to get that open, then that hurt the secondary a lot. And I do think, I'm not saying that Riley Mills playing would have drastically changed everything, but having one of the best defensive tackles and your sack leader for the year not play in a game like this, and that was his specialty, was getting to the quarterback up the middle, and there was none of that yesterday. I really do think it helped. This is the worst game I saw from the linebackers all season too, and so I do think that was affected by just not being able to get to Will Howard. I feel like they kind of made it his job a little bit easy, especially when you do have the weapons that you have. And you and I were talking yesterday where we were saying we do think that it's important that Ohio State is able to run the ball, and I do think that opened more opportunities because you saw both of these running backs, obviously several plays from Quinshon Judkins, but you saw both of these running backs that Notre Dame couldn't choose. They were like, okay, well, they're going to run the ball with both of these running backs, or they're going to be able to throw it to one of these mini wide receivers, or if you try and cover everybody, Will Howard's going to go up the middle for 10 yards. There was just nothing.
Since we've already taken you behind the curtain to 1010XL World Headquarters and the interactions of yesterday at 3:30 p.m., I will let you Heeligans know I did not text Taylor Dahl during the game last night as Quinshon Judkins ripped off a 70-yard run to say, I tried to warn you. And
no, I said that the running was. Lauren was like, I don't think, no, they've been passing all year. I knew the running game was, to me, because if you only had one or the other to worry about, like if Ohio State couldn't run the ball and all you had to do was worry about the passing game, then I think that it would have been a little easier. But the fact that you couldn't decide which one you wanted to focus on. You had to put all of your effort into literally every single play.
By the way, if you subtract that 170-yard run for Quinshon Judkins, he had 30 rushing yards on the night on 10 carries. So I will credit the Notre Dame defense. I mean, they held them. If you account for that, that's about a 3.3 yard per carry average between the two tailbacks of Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. Yeah. The biggest surprise for me was Will Howard. Taylor Dahl.
Yeah.
16 carries, 57 yards. Up to this point, his season high was 5 carries for 37 yards in the playoff opener against Tennessee.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. It got to that point because I remember the one run, it was pretty early in the game, and they were like, oh, no wide receivers open, but then there was just field, and Will Howard runs for a first down. And it was the type of thing. It also was uncharacteristic of a lot of Notre Dame things, like the unnecessary roughness they got. That's not something that usually happens. That I immediately was like, get him off the field. Like that, in that moment, you cannot get that penalty. And that was about to potentially be a big stop. And then you miss a field goal, that kills energy. And then there was just a lot of things. The tight end runs into the snap and they almost fumble it. There was a lot of those moments. And then I also think just the lack of pressure against Ohio State and the amount of pressure that Riley Leonard had. I also think they exuded all of their energy in the first drive when they spent over 10 minutes. And we said that was a key to the game, keep the ball away from Ohio State and run the ball and take time off the clock. And that's what they did. But unfortunately, it ended up being Riley Leonard puking on the sideline because he was completely worn out after one drive.
Most plays on a single drive in national championship history. Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame had a solid game plan, but ultimately I think this one just came down to Johnny's and Joe's.
Yeah.
It's a conversation we have with regards to the National Football League, the team here in this town, and the teams they play each and every Sunday during the NFL season.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, and Dan and Jeff, I thought, did a great job of hitting the nail on the head this morning on the drill. When you look at the previous national championship teams over the last 5 to 10 years, how often is the team that wins the national title the team that breaks the record for most NFL draft picks 4 months later? It's happened more often than not in this decade.
And we've talked about it a lot when it comes to, obviously, like Mike kind of like laughed at it. It's not like 15 5-stars on a team and the amount of players that are probably going to be drafted in the NFL. Notre Dame always has a decent amount of players drafted. A lot of is offensive linemen, running back. Like, that's kind of the players you end up seeing in there. Ohio State, it's a lot of wide receivers. We've seen some quarterbacks. We see a lot of defensive linemen, stuff like that. So it is different. And I think that I honestly was terrified in the beginning. After that second quarter, I was like, oh, God, this is about to be an Alabama repeat. It's going to be like 60-14. And so credit to them for battling back, because it just looked like nothing was going to work for a while. And the Ohio State, who we know is one of the most explosive offenses in entire college football, they don't make a lot of mistakes. You forced a fumble late in the game. You were kind of getting them. You forced some defensive pass interferences, stuff like that. They were making some mistakes. And so you did what you could to make it as close as possible. But yeah, when you have that talent gap, and I said it yesterday, their wide receivers are light years away from what Notre Dame's wide receivers are. That's been something all year. And so this was the first game, actually, that any Notre Dame wide receiver surpassed 100 yards. Jaden Greathouse had 128 yards all season. Nobody's gotten over 100 yards in a game, and that just shows you how much they've relied on the run game, and they had 53 rushing yards. So
I was looking forward to a potential Ryan Day collapse and
me too.
That would mean for the Buckeyes faithful. Would we question if he should even have a job despite leading his team to the national title game?
Yeah, I do have to be feeling a little silly right now. All the people like shouting to fire him after the
hey, listen, there's a lot of people shouting for those to be fired in high-ranking positions, including here in the city of Jacksonville. Yes, we've heard your cries about Trent Baalke. We will address those head-on when we return. I also see one of the many ways you can interact with us here on Helmets and Heels, the MyBookie Digital Studio on YouTube, Facebook, and X, especially on YouTube, where y'all are already lighting up the comments section. It's a live chat feature, folks. You can get in on the conversation. Just search 1010XL on YouTube. We are the top video on the top of our channel live right now. The Liam Cohen situation. Where does it go from here? The Jaguars head coaching search. Where does it go from here? We will address that head on coming up next here on Helmets and Heels on an epic cool Heating and Air Tuesday.
Big moment.
Play-by-play is full of plot twists
Did that just happen?
and high-octane drama.
And this game is tied.
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
Happy New Year, taco lovers. Don here from Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach. Football season is wrapping up, but Taco Lou is still cranking out the tacos. If your New Year's resolution is to get back in the gym, remember you can keep the workout going with a taco in each hand, or a taco in one hand and a cold Dos Equis or margarita in the other. It's practically my entire exercise regimen. Well, maybe all of it. Anyway, come in, relax, and be ready for a great year. Happy New Year from all of us at Taco Lou.
Florida's weather is unpredictable. Don't let the Epic Chill catch you off guard. For reliable heating services, call Epic Cool Heating and Air. Keep your home cozy all season long. Call 904-859-EPIC, 904-859-3742.
Mia here since 1982. Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made this process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but also incredibly functional for me and old Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 1-800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And be sure to check out their New Year specials, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design, 1-800-293-3744.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Hayes Carlion for Physician Guided Weight Loss. I need help losing weight. I'm older and I don't have the discipline needed. Luckily, I discovered Physician Guided Weight Loss. Their amazing technology, fast setup, friendly staff, and proven results sold me. They can help you too, and it's affordable with firm pricing, so no rising costs as you go. If you're like me and looking to kick off the new year with a leaner body, call Physician Guided Weight Loss at 257-4344. That's 257-4344.
New year, new beginnings, and a new roof. Start 2025 with peace of mind and take advantage of Universal Roof and Contracting's limited time offer. 15% off all roof repairs and replacements. From leaks to full replacements, call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection today. This special New Year deal ends January 31st. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
It's the Gator Podcast Channel with Frank Frangie and me, Dan Hicken, on all things Gators. Hacker and Denny Thompson have Gator Bites, and you can find them wherever you find podcasts or at 1010XL.com. Presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Jacksonville. When AEW returns home, it is the biggest party in all of professional wrestling.
Daily's Place, the home of AEW.
And on Saturday, January 25th, Collision returns live. It's a new year and a whole new era in AEW, and there's no better time to experience the excitement than right now. AEW Collision Homecoming, live from Daily's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Tickets on sale now, starting at $20 at AEWTIX.com.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
Transform your bathroom with stunning shower glass from Sky Glass Solutions in Jacksonville Beach. For a free quote, call 904-608-5151 or visit skyglasssolutions.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS right here in Jacksonville is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS. IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Hey, poker fans! The Best Bet Winter Open Series returns to Best Bet Jacksonville from January 23rd to February 2nd. Satellites into the $1,500 main event kick off January 4th. Take your shot at big payouts with 8 action-packed events and $500,000 in guarantees. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com. And we'll see you at the Winter Open starting January 23rd.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
I once again grace your airwaves to say, we know why you're here. Yeah. We know why you turned your radio dial to 1010 AM 92.5 FM, why you fired up the YouTube. Hopefully you're involved in the MyBookie Digital Studio chat, why you're chomping at the bit to chime in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. 904-641-1010 is the number to reach us at, by the way. No phone calls just yet. if things get a little heated, I think we may have to open those phone lines, though, Taylor. Because
I feel like hour 2, we should.
Yeah, Dylan Denmark is doing his best, filling in for R.J. Saunders and fending off the angry phone calls here at 1010XL in light of Ben Johnson opting to become the next head coach of the Chicago Bears, despite interest and despite a first-round interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars, despite Tom Brady reportedly multiple meetings with Johnson and his camp. And as you just informed me while we were off the air, Taylor Dahl, Ben Johnson has arrived at Hallis Hall to a standing ovation.
Yeah, they're pumped in Hallis Hall. He made it like, I haven't seen, the video just shows him walking in and everyone clapping and celebrating, but apparently he did make some big speech to everybody in Hallis Hall, so maybe we'll see if there's a video of that. But yeah, it's an organization that we don't know, and that's the thing. I tried, yesterday I did the breaking podcast when it happened. I don't know if it's going to work out. This is a guy who hasn't been a head coach. This could not work, but this is something that you can't say you will regret because it was a move that not only your lead candidate as a head coach, but multiple teams' lead candidate for a head coach. And the one that it's not just this year. It was going back to last year. People wanted him at the end of last season too. So it's not like he's this flavor of the month. Mm-hmm. This is somebody that now for over a year, close to 2 years, people have been talking about. And so I think here in Jacksonville now, you've got to pivot. And I already was in that world, by the way. I was already, no way, like either team's getting Ben Johnson. So who's my next? And I've been very high, and this goes back to November. I've been very high on Todd Monken and Liam Cohen since November. You and I want to say at the end of November, started talking about Liam Cohen at that time. Mm-hmm. And I tweeted at that point, here's my 3 people, Johnson, Monken, and Cohen. And so now you do have to kind of pivot and start looking at what's best for Trevor Lawrence, because I think, Mia, we've had this conversation, and at the end of last season, the reason I wanted to put so much into the offensive line, and I was beating the table about fix this offensive line because we need to see what Trevor is, and I don't think we're going to be able to really see what Trevor Lawrence can be if he doesn't have an offensive line. And then now we're still having that same conversation. We still don't know what Trevor Lawrence can be because there still hasn't been a good play caller. There still hasn't been a good offensive line, good protection. And so I do think now at this point you have to find a coach who not only is going to be able to bring Trevor to what we saw at the end of the 2022 season, into that Chargers game and into the playoffs, but also somebody who is going to say, Trent, get him some protection, and let's figure this thing out because you do have pieces to make it better.
So as we bid adieu to the Ben Johnson dream here in Duval County, do we got a world's smallest violin, Dylan Denmark? I think we got to cue that up as I read off today's poll question of the day here on Helmets and Heels. I have posted it in the YouTube MyBookie Digital Studio chat. I now read it to you before posting it on the 1010XL account on X. Are you mad about Ben Johnson to the Bears, Taylor Dahl? A, because I wanted Ben. B, because I just want Trent Baalke out. And C, I'm not mad. Early prediction. Which of those 3 do we think the Heeligans, the 1010XL listeners, viewers, where do we think the majority fall in the camp of?
I'm going to say they want Baalke gone. I think that this has been a thing for a long time that people have not wanted Trent Baalke in this building. And I actually just saw this stat, Mia. They popped it up on, I don't know what this is from. Someone just screenshot the video, so I don't know what outlet this is on, ESPN, NFL Network, something. But since 2014, so in 2014, the 49ers went 8-8. Jim Harbaugh got fired that year. In 2015, the 49ers went 5-11. Jim Tasula got fired that year. 2016, the 49ers went 2-14. Chip Kelly got fired that year. In 2020, the Jags went 1-15. Doug Marrone got fired that year. In 2021, the Jags went 3-14. Urban Meyer got fired that year. And then now here we are, a 4-win season, and the coach gets fired, and yet Trent Baalke's still sitting there, and Trent Baalke's been the GM of all of those organizations. But yes, you're trying to tell me that this guy has drafted so well and has done everything right, but in all of these times, the coaches were the problem?
It's astounding because, as I said to one league source yesterday, it's astounding that while the NFL owners are incredibly competitive people, that they are, 31 of them are just willingly standing off to the side, 30, I guess, because of the Green Bay Packers situation. 30 owners are willingly watching Shad Khan make the same mistakes that Jed York did a decade ago. And in the decade since firing, I guess 9 years since firing Trent Baalke, Jed York has been to not 1 but 2 Super Bowls with Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. It's rather fascinating. I'm not going to put this on the owners. I don't believe it's their job to police each other per se, even if morally perhaps it's the right avenue to take.
People aren't texting him being like, yo, I need to talk.
I know he only talks football with Trent and Ethan.
Yeah.
You heard him 2 Mondays ago.
Yeah.
Those are his football allies. The point being, I don't want to say that the NFL needs to come down to Shad Khan and say, you need to make a change, blah, 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 because it's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. So that needs to be striked from the record. It's not going to happen. My question is this. Well, yes, there were reports that Ben Johnson was unwilling to work with Trent Baalke. Who's to say that these 3 candidates they're trotting in this week? Who's to say? And I have no intel on this, but who's to say that they don't say, I have reservations about Trent Baalke?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's to also say, Taylor, that Ben Johnson, if he had accepted the job here and said, I need Baalke out, who's to definitively say that Trent Baalke would actually be out of the building if he had accepted the job here?
Yeah, and I feel like, honestly, I think Ben Johnson either did hear the answer or had talked to enough people that he didn't think that Trent Baalke would be gone completely. And maybe they were talking a little bit like, oh, well, reevaluate the pecking order, or we'll rename some positions so you're not having to work directly with Trent Baalke. And Ben Johnson apparently did not want that. And I don't know the conversation, so I can't predict that. I don't know Liam Cohen's deal either when it comes to what he's heard or what he knows or any sort of relationship with Trent Baalke. I have heard that one of the few people in the NFL that don't have a problem with Trent Baalke is Robert Saleh. Multiple people have told me that. So I feel like take what you want out of that, of saying, yes, maybe they want him in here as a defensive coordinator. Maybe they do give him a shot as a head coach if somebody like a Liam Cohen doesn't work or a Todd Monken doesn't work. But I do think that a lot of people are kind of all in the mindset of wanting that true offensive-minded guy for Trevor Lawrence, and then somebody like a Saleh would be great as a DC. I'm not sure how ecstatic a fan base would be as a head coach, even though personally I think that Robert Saleh was fired for wrong reasons and with the Jets also. But he is the one person that multiple people that I've talked to that has not been backstabbed by Trent Baalke, so does have a decent relationship
because
with Trent
part
Baalke.
of that, of course, was he arrived in San Francisco the year after Trent Baalke had been fired.
Yes.
I say this to that notion, which I agree. I think part of it is Robert Saleh, quite frankly, just wants another bite of the apple. He wants a fair shake. And so,
do you think he would take a DC job? Do you think he's at? Yeah.
I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
That's where I am at with the Jaguars. 3, as of now, it is 3 head coaching finalists. Reads as follows. Liam Cohen, at this juncture, is the front runner.
Yeah.
That's not to say that Robert Saleh and Patrick Graham aren't in the conversation, but my read on this, and this dates back 2 months now, my read on this is that Liam Cohen has sought to bring, wherever he ended up landing some head coaching interviews, he wanted to bring forth a former veteran, not just DC, potentially a former head coach as the DC, to be a veteran voice in his ear as a first-time head coach. Mm-hmm. Robert Saleh's name has been linked to him since December. I can tell you that on good intel. To which I say, well, it makes sense, does it not? Robert Saleh is a longtime lieutenant of Kyle Shanahan. Liam Cohen is a longtime lieutenant of Sean McVay. Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, last time I checked, they're still friends. And so that's not so much of a surprise to me. I think what's going to be interesting, and I had a couple conversations with some folks around the league yesterday. Kyle Shanahan has all but said, Robert, if you want to come back to San Francisco, we will gladly bring you back as the defensive coordinator. If you don't get a head coaching job, which, don't forget, it's not just here in Jacksonville that he's interviewed for the head coaching vacancy. It's also in Las Vegas. It's also in Dallas. Yep. And so I think Robert Saleh is not counting his chickens before they hatch, but he's also not looking at the contingency plan just yet. He believes, and you have to. That's how you have to operate as anyone applying for a job. You have to believe that you have a legitimate chance
at the job,
at landing one of those 3 head coaching jobs. If he does not land one of those 3, that's where I think the conversation will begin surrounding, could he be the defense coordinator here in Jacksonville potentially or in San Francisco? From what I was told yesterday, yes, he has interest in going back to San Francisco.
Okay.
But he also has that long-standing relationship, friendship with the Khans since he departed in 2016. They've remained on good terms. He was the runner-up to Urban Meyer in 2021. That's where I personally think there is a part of Shad Khan that knows he did wrong by Robert Saleh in 2021. I do not believe, and I could be completely off, I do not believe, knowing the needs of the franchise at this juncture, that it needs an offensive-minded head coach who will be the primary play caller. I do not believe that Shad will make up for his wrongs of 2021 by hiring Robert Saleh as the head coach.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's going to happen. What I do think is still in play is we're going to go with Liam, but we will make you the highest paid DC in the National Football League. We will give you a assistant head coach title. And no offense, Robert, your money goes a lot longer and a lot further here in Florida than it does in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And you also have 7 children, and St. Johns County is the #1 public school district in the state of Florida, but I digress. Point being, I don't think we're out of the woods of that possibility. I also think, look, the Jags are approaching him as a very realistic candidate. But I contend, just like you, that this is Liam Cohen's show. It is Liam Cohen's world, and we are just living in it.
Yeah.
And there are people in this very building who, as I say that, are rolling their eyes. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe that someone who has only been an offensive coordinator for 2 seasons and only one has he been the primary play caller, and, oh, yeah, he went back and forth to Kentucky. He's just going to leave us after a year and go to Kentucky. I want to dispel
Liam.
all of these rumors and these lies.
The back and forth between college and the NFL worries some people. I get it, but if you're being given a head coaching job, obviously that ups the ante immediately, and especially because I think that for Liam Cohen, and I get reservations for people because obviously we've seen this 1 year with Baker, and I think you do need to credit that because, yes, Baker, who last season already kind of took this step, and people are like, okay, Baker's return, and he's made his resurgence in the NFL, but this year he doubled his touchdowns. He had some of the best numbers across the board, and that, yes, you have Mike Evans and you have Chris Godwin, both of those guys battling injury throughout the season too, and you still saw Baker be able to bake, we'll say. And also, I think you always have to take a little something out of that Sean McVay tree because that is the tree that if you want to pick any branches off of, that's the tree right now that people are living off of.
I also want to dispel these ideas of, well, if he's such a great candidate, why is no one else interviewing him? I will tell you the reason behind that on the other side. The Coalition, our conversation, it continues here on an Epic Cool Heating and Air Tuesday on Helmets and Heels.
Each one of us remembers when we felt it the first time, when you looked up and down those bleachers and saw 90,000 saluting alongside you. When you first saw a Gator.
1010XL.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Mia here. You want to know what's better than a sale? A sale on top of a sale. I know, right? That's exactly what's going on at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned during their Everything's on Sale sale. Just how on sale is it? How about $0 down and just $288 per month for a pre-owned 2022 Toyota Corolla? Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4 Tacoma for $0 down and only $388 per month. But that's not all. I mean, this is a sale on top of a sale, folks, where everything's on sale. That's why my friends at Arlington are offering no payments till July 2025. You heard that right, July 2025. No payments. Plus, Arlington's lot is packed with over 600 vehicles, and you get 60 days to love your purchase or exchange it. It's official. It's a sale on top of a sale during the Everything's on Sale sale at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. That's some kind of sale. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
An ACL tear can be a devastating injury with prolonged pain and rehabilitation. Hi, I'm Dr. George Bari. I'm a sports medicine orthopedic surgeon who grew up right here in Jacksonville and then went on to train with the world-renowned Dr. James Andrews. At Bari Orthopedics, we use the most current techniques to get you back in the field with less pain and quicker rehabilitation. We treat all types of sports injuries with the newest techniques available. Please call us for consultation or visit BariOrthopedics.com.
Find out more at BariOrthopedics.com. That's BAHRI Orthopedics.com. This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation, with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. At Terminix, they know how to stop termites, and they did it at my house. These destructive pests may have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so does Terminix. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem. I certainly didn't want to. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro-Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projaxroofingfl.com.
It's New Year's resolution time, like fixing that leaky faucet, unclogging that drain, or getting your AC ready for the summer. Start the year off right with Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Call us today at 904-862-6769, because when you're stuck, call the Duck.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 21st, 2010, LA Lakers forward Kobe Bryant becomes the youngest NBA player to reach 25,000 career points, beating Wilt Chamberlain's record by 35 days.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the chairman of Underwoods. With Christmas behind us and 2025 here, the last thing you want to hear is somebody trying to sell you something. That's why at Underwoods, we'd like to just stop and say thank you to all the people that came in our stores over the last year. Whether you bought from us or not, we want to thank you for coming by and giving us the chance to help. You know, in North Florida, there are a lot of people trying to sell you jewelry. But at Underwoods, we consider it an honor for somebody to come in and just give us that chance to help. And if we do a good job, we might get a chance to serve again. Having served North Florida since 1928, all of us here understand what a customer really gives us during that visit to Underwoods, their trust. And it's up to us to do everything we can to keep it. So on behalf of everybody on the Underwood team, thanks again for coming into our stores. And we wish each of you a Happy New Year.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's win or go home with the AFC and NFC finals this weekend, so build your bankroll for the big game. The NFL playoffs are the tickets to the biggest game of the year, and all roads lead to New Orleans. This is your chance to get in on every high-stakes moment along the way. Your road to New Orleans starts now with MyBookie, the ultimate destination for bettors who want more. Whether you're backing the underdogs or riding with the favorites, every drive, every touchdown, every moment is an opportunity to win big. Kick off your 2025 right with risk-free Thursdays. Place a bet, and if it doesn't hit, MyBookie has your back. Dive into the Bet Boost tab to supercharge your picks and build that bankroll before the big game. MyBookie's online casino keeps the excitement going 24/7. Blackjack, roulette, slots, it's all there. Whether you're celebrating a big win or gearing up for the next round. Haven't joined? Now is the time. Use promo code 1010XL on your first deposit, and MyBookie will hook you up with an instant 50% deposit bonus because you deserve to start the new year off strong. Don't forget that promo code 1010XL on your first deposit, only with MyBookie.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
Our question of the day on X has been live for 17 minutes. We already have 250 votes. 3 options. Are you mad about Ben Johnson to the Bears? A, because I wanted Ben in Jacksonville. B, because I want Balky out. C, I'm not mad. Taylor Dahl predicted that the B's, because I want Balky out, would be the majority. And you would be correct, Taylor Dahl. 60.6% of the 250 of you who have casted votes say you're only mad about Ben Johnson going to the Chicago Bears because it may, I don't want to say it was a guarantee because I don't know that to be fact, because it may have guaranteed that Trent Baalke would not be the general manager of the Jaguars.
Yeah.
To which I say, once again, how can you guarantee to me that Trent Baalke will still be the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars when the Jaguars do decide who their next head coach will be? Now, we teased that we would dive into Liam Cohen, the candidate, in my estimation, the front runner to be the next head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the 39-year-old offensive coordinator from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Before we get to Liam's qualifications and what I've been told for months regarding his candidacy as a head coach, not just here in Jacksonville, but in the National Football League, I first want to begin by dispelling this notion, Taylor Dahl. I want to dispel this notion that he doesn't have any other requests, and therefore, why are we leaning towards the guy in Jacksonville? Because, of course, you can't do anything right in Jacksonville. Why would Jacksonville lean towards someone who no one else has requested? Well, let's begin with the team that filled its head coaching vacancy yesterday with Ben Johnson, the Chicago Bears. Taylor, you also cover the Chicago Bears. I believe you're familiar with a guy by the name of Shane Waldron. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know where Shane Waldron went to school, where he was most notably a tight ends coach, offensive line coach in the mid-2010s? Are you familiar with that?
I do not.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, but maybe when you say it.
Okay. So Shane Waldron started his coaching career as a low-level coach, assistant coach with the New England Patriots, eventually rose to tight ends coach, then flipped over to the college ranks, was a part of different college programs in the Northeast, especially in the New England area. That included spending 2012 to 2015 at UMass. UMass had a co-passing game coordinator who had also played ball there, eventually became the offensive coordinator at UMaine, by the name of Liam Cohen. Now, in 2016, when Cohen departed for the University of Maine, Waldron went back to the National Football League as an offensive quality control coach. And again, this is 2016. He then went to Los Angeles in 2017 to become the tight ends coach. Why did he make that move, Taylor? Why would he follow someone from the Washington Redskins to the LA Rams between 2016 and 2017? Oh, that's right, because Sean McVay became the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, and he brought Shane Waldron to the Rams. A year later, Shane Waldron called his friend Liam Cohen and said, hey, Sean's looking to add to his staff. Would you want to jump to the National Football League? Would you like to move from snowy New England, where, yes, you are from, however, look at beautiful Southern California.
Yeah.
Look at the Los Angeles Rams, primed to create one of the greatest shows on turf again, now only in SoCal. So, I say all that to say, why would the Chicago Bears hire someone who they just scapegoated his best friend?
Yeah. First of all, I don't want to relate anybody to Shane Waldron because he was terrible. So hopefully Liam Cohen is a lot better than Shane Waldron, because that's one of the few plucks from a Sean McVay tree that has not.
Perhaps the only
awful.
one.
This goes back to, you can be like, okay, it was just in Chicago, but we saw/heard Jackson Smith and Jigba's comments about Shane Waldron last year. There was definitely rumors about that not going well. And so, to your point, when it comes to that back and forth, and I went back and I found this tweet because somebody did ask it when we had Evan Klosky on last week, and he was talking about Liam Cohen. Somebody commented on one of the audiograms and asked, like, is it not a red flag that, number one, nobody else is wanting to interview this guy or has interviewed this guy, and number two, the jumps back and forth between college football and the NFL? And Evan Klosky did reply to that, and he said that there is a video of Liam Cohen speaking on the back and forth between the LA Rams and Kentucky, and he said that it was somewhere along the lines, he was like, this isn't an exact quote, but somewhere along the lines of feeling indebted to Sean McVay, Then KOC left for Minnesota, and McVay asked him to come back post Super Bowl run, and so we thought it was the right move. But then he missed calling plays so much that he went back to college to be able to call plays. So to me, it's a guy that number one is Sean McVay is their guy, and they will do a lot for Sean McVay. And when if Sean McVay is like, "Hey, do you want to come back and be on my staff?" It's a hard thing to say no to. But they also are guys that love to call plays and be physically like an offensive play caller. And you don't get that opportunity at every stop. And especially if you're working under Sean McVay, you are obviously not going to be involved in those calling plays. So to me, it's a positive because this is something Liam Cohen is taking these jobs because he wants this experience in calling plays. He enjoys calling plays. He loves the mental part of designing and creating all of these things. And I talked to somebody last week also that was it was for my Bears podcast, but we were breaking down a lot of these different coaches. And at the time, Liam Cohen, even though the Bears weren't interviewing him, I still wanted to learn a little bit more about him. And so he went on this whole thing of saying that his creativeness is so it works so well with Baker because Baker was under Lincoln Riley, and Baker has kind of these flashy, he can run, he doesn't have to run, but he's capable of doing these trick, fun, kind of scramble out of the pocket stuff. But also you can mesh that with what Sean McVay does and being a pocket passer and being able to do these other things offensively. And so he said that's why it works so well with Baker. I do think that's a good fit for somebody like Trevor Lawrence because we know we've kind of complained in recent years that they don't use Trevor's legs to what he can actually do when you start moving things around and being creative. And so I do think someone like that who meshes a Sean McVay offense but makes it his own and caters it to the strengths of your quarterback is exactly what you would want here.
And Evan Klosky of WSTP in Tampa also made the great point, or TSP. I'm dyslexic. I'm going to mess that up forever and ever. He did also make the point last week that Liam Cohen came to Jacksonville looking to run one, or he didn't come to Jacksonville, came to Tampa. Excuse me. I got a text from somebody else. My brain was in a different place. Went to Tampa with the intention of running one offense. You lose Chris Godwin for the season.
Yep.
You lose Mike Evans for a length of time, and you adapt to the personnel that you have.
Yep.
And that, to me, is a massive green flag, someone who can adapt on the fly. And there will be those of you who say, well, it's a one-year sample size.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. One thing I want to dispel before I go through these other head coaching vacancies and we look at the situational reality of why Liam Cohen has not been requested anywhere else, I do want to address this idea, and it was floated to me again by somebody, and I said, where are you getting this? This idea, and I'm not going to call out any of our colleagues, but you can probably infer who, this idea of Sean McVay fired him. That's why he went back to Kentucky. I have been told that that could not be further from the truth.
That's not what I've heard either.
It's called, he wanted to call plays. You are never going to call plays under Sean McVay. He calls the plays. And Sean wants what's best for a protege who, I'm going to save one of the juiciest quotes I was given in the last 2 weeks for a rainy day. But know that Sean McVay has immense respect for Liam Cohen. I have now heard it from as good a source as there potentially is. And I can tell you that that relationship is strong. Everyone in that Rams organization is rooting for Liam Cohen, and they want him to succeed. I'll tell you this. I was talking to a buddy of mine, longtime assistant coach at Rutgers. He's kind of taken a step back on the basketball front. Now he's going to be he's a high school coach right now.
Yeah.
And we had a great philosophical chat yesterday. And I said, Aunt, it doesn't matter what the medium is. I know that there is a sense of pride of I'm a Division I assistant coach and I'm coaching at Rutgers and this is, look at me, I'm at my alma mater. There's something to be said for that. But if you feel like you're actually getting reps and becoming a better coach for the long haul by coaching high school, that's okay.
Yeah.
And so for Liam Cohen to say, for me to get to where I eventually want to be, which is a head NFL coach, I need to be calling plays. And so I'm not calling plays here. Why would I keep spinning my wheels?
Yeah.
Just because I'm a proxy to Sean McVay? No, Sean McVay wants me to get those reps. I encourage young journalists. Hell, you were listening to me talking to one of them the other day. Go where the reps are.
Yeah.
That may mean moving to Billings, Montana or Bangor, Maine. Go where you can actually practice the craft.
What you want to do. And that's what I think we've seen so many coaches not work out because they are offensive coordinators, but they're under someone who they're not calling the plays. The head coach is calling the plays, but they're like, it's fine because they learned under so-and-so. that doesn't work because you need that in-game experience. And we're seeing this last couple years of a lot of the time management issues, a lot of the game time decision, just those little things that are not adding up because it's somebody who, yes, you're learning maybe under an Andy Reid, and this is a Matt Nagy call out, you're learning under one of the best. But when you're not doing those in-game things, like there's no way you're learning those on the spot. And so I think that we've seen a lot of examples of this. And there's always the outliers when they hired Sean McVay, and you're taking that risk of a McVay, and obviously he's become one of the best. That's not going to happen every time. You're not going to get a Sean McVay, a Kyle Shanahan. How do you think?
Although the odds are pretty good. I know we led with Shane Waldron, which is probably the wrong way to start this argument because he's perhaps the one who hasn't worked out. But he's the only one.
And I also, Mia, what have we pounded the table about so much that the problem was this year when it came to the offense? A lot of problems this year. But one of the biggest things we talked about from day one was the Jags need to be able to run the ball. Tampa Bay had the fourth best rushing offense this year with a rookie in Bucky Irving. And what Liam Cohen was able to do to design and develop this kid in 1 year and make that a focal point of the Bucs offense, who everybody else was like, oh, when they lose a Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, if they're not on the field, they're going to blow it because they can't run the ball. And then a rookie running back comes in, who, by the way, everyone was saying it was the worst running back class in the last whatever amount of years. Liam Cohen was a part of that. Liam Cohen was a part of making this offense balanced. And to your point, taking the strengths and the pieces that they do have and designing it to be functional and executed properly on the football field. And you have to give him credit for that.
Only offense in the NFL that was both top 5 in passing and top 5 in rushing. Quickly running through. The New England Patriots, despite the fact that he's from New England, despite the fact that he grew up in Rhode Island, went to college there, Liam Cohen was never getting that job.
Yeah.
He could go through the requests, and I think you can all kind of figure out where Robert Kraft was headed, why he made the move to fire Gerard Mayo. I'm not even going to exhaust that. The Dallas Cowboys, historically speaking, you can go all the way back to Jimmy Johnson in the late 80s. Yes, there were 2 college head coaches that Jerry Jones hired to become his head coach. Aside from that, you see nothing but retreads and someone with a tie to the organization. That includes our good friend, our colleague, Dave Campo.
Yeah.
That includes, I go down the list.
Yeah.
I mean, quite frankly.
Over and over again.
Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy. There's a retread. It's literally a system. It's a cycle.
And now they're talking to Kellen Moore.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to exhaust that as well.
Yeah.
The New York Jets. The New York Jets also didn't request Ben Johnson. Is that a red flag? They interviewed everyone under the sun.
They didn't have a chance with Ben Johnson, but the Jets are also, I don't know, they're one of the most dysfunctional organizations too, so I don't know what you want to compare to there, but I do think everybody has, but to your point, you're saying just because other teams aren't interviewing Liam Cohen doesn't mean that the Jags are wrong for going this route, and I don't think so. But I do think that the Jets, we know, have such a weird perspective on what works, and I said it earlier in the show. I don't think that Robert Saleh was the problem in the first place. So I do think they have to reevaluate a lot of things of what they've looked at. Where do you think they're leaning?
Oh, I don't think they're going to let Aaron Glenn leave the building.
Yeah.
I think in the next hour while we're on the air, we're going to hear that Aaron Glenn is the next head coach of the Jets, which is also, I think,
it's also kind of funny.
It's a roundabout way to get to, much like the Bears who interviewed 15 plus candidates to ultimately land on the guy they always had earmarked.
Yeah.
But just like Ben Johnson, in my estimation, was not requested by the New York Jets because the New York Jets knew what the answer would be. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think may have been a similar situation with Liam Cohen.
Okay.
The last 2 vacancies, the New Orleans Saints, much like the Dallas Cowboys, they hire retreads, they hire their own. That is why the 2 betting favorites are Joe Brady, their favorite son of Louisiana, and Mike McCarthy, who previously was their offensive coordinator prior to becoming the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. So again, not a surprise. The Raiders are the wild card for me. The Raiders are the wild card for all the reasons I outlined yesterday.
Yeah.
I was told in December that Tom Telesco was going to be the general manager. And suddenly he was not.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, from my vantage point, pushed all the chips to the middle of the table and said to Ben Johnson and his representation, you want to see how serious we are? This is how serious we are. Bye, Tom. See you later. We'll figure it out. Well, now they have to figure it out.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised, especially knowing that John Spytek, the assistant GM for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, had a second-round interview, and he's the former teammate of Tom Brady when they were at Michigan together. I would not be surprised if John Spytek is hired as the general manager later this week of the Raiders, and suddenly, because you now can request candidates who are out of the postseason, i.e. a Liam Cohen, they've already been eliminated.
Reach out to some of those names,
And reach out to those names because you don't have to interview them virtually. Then you can bring them in person right away.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see if that would occur if the Raiders were to go in the Spytek direction. Personally, I think they're going Pete Carroll.
I was about to say, I think Pete Carroll, too. I just think it makes sense for them because they're in this weird year anyways. They don't have a quarterback. They have some guys that can get you and win you some games, and you have other weapons. Obviously, the Brock Bowers is the big name that everyone's shouting out. You'll pay whoever you want to pay. So put a little Band-Aid on it for a little bit. You know Pete Carroll's not going to be coaching for the next 10 years. So give him a contract for a few years. Let him patch up the culture, fix some things, find a quarterback that they can just kind of like throw in there until a couple seasons when you get a draft that you like some of these quarterbacks and you can get one that you actually want to draft to your team. And just let Pete Carroll fix the culture a little bit, and then in 3 years, like already kind of have this move of like, all right, Pete, now also help us find the next everything.
Identify that next great offensive or defensive mind. Look, I know it didn't work for the Patriots to have Gerard Mayo as the coach in waiting, so maybe Pete Carroll's got to be a bit more forward-thinking than Robert Kraft was and identify, hey, this is the guy who I'm bringing along. Did Doug Peterson think that's what he was doing with Press Taylor? Many are wondering. Oof. Point being, as we put a bow on the coalition discussion, the coalition conversation on this epic cool heating and air Tuesday, the reason he has not been requested anywhere else is entirely situational. That is my view on that. Yeah. That is from what my reporting reflects. That is what I believe in my heart of hearts from conversations I've had. And I do want to note, for those of you who have wondered, where are the scoops? What's Mia doing? Why are you not on the Ben Johnson train? I have spent, since early November, I have spent much of my free reporting time not focused necessarily on who's the next head coach of the Jaguars. I have approached this from the perspective, independent of the team I cover in this town, Taylor. I have approached it from the perspective of, I say Ben Johnson's name to insert name of person in the NFL who has previously worked with him. What's their reaction? I say Todd Monken's name. Mm-hmm. What's the body language? What's the reaction? I say Liam Cohen's name. What's the body language? What's the reaction? I have done that now 24 times on the phone, in person, text, Zoom, you name it. And when I say Liam Cohen's name, in my heart of hearts, I cannot sit here and lie to you and tell you that every single one of those people, because this is a fact, every single one of those people, as soon as I said his name, they lit up. Yeah. In November, in December, and here in January on the eve of his second in-person interview, his first in-person, his second-round interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is an Epic Cool Heating and Air Tuesday. You can visit them at epichvaservice.com. Give them a call at 904-859-EPIC, and be sure to mention 1010XL for exclusive discounts for military, police, and first responders. Let's keep the conversation going as well on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, the Coalition Conversation, 641-1010, and the MyBookie Digital Studio. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us on an Epic Cool Heating and Air Tuesday on Helmets and Heels.
Jaguars football lives here.
Listen, we sticking together.
1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Mia here for Dream Finders Homes. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dream Finders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now is your chance to lock down the rate and get in the game. You heard me right, a 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
It's a new year at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. Cash in this month with thrilling promotions and tournaments, including daily high hands and table games clockwork cash out. giving away $300 cash every 15 minutes and selected weekends at all 3 Best Bet locations. Catch all the excitement in 2025. See all the details and learn the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and we're now in the 3rd week of the new year. Have you lost 18 pounds yet? Well, you probably didn't choose Awaken 180 weight loss. I lost 18 pounds in my first 3 weeks alone. Switch it up and get your results at awaken180weightloss.com.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
1010XL celebrates high scorers.
1010XL and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists celebrate scholar athletes.
In class and on the court.
Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PEC to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text PEC to 321321. That's PEC to 321321.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing Scalp Micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com today.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Brought to you by Blue Chew. The Orlando Magic and the Toronto Raptors will square off for the second time this season north of the border tonight with tip-off at 7:30. Orlando has dropped 9 of their last 13 games as they deal with their short roster. Key players that will still be out ahead of tonight's game include Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, and Mo Wagner. Magic's head coach Jamal Mosley on managing minutes with a short rotation.
Well, managing it the best we can. Obviously, P's still on a minutes restriction, so that's where it becomes a little bit tricky in those scenarios because you don't want to fatigue guys out. You're trying not to run guys too long. Again, but not to make an excuse. We have to continue to be better, and we don't let it go from there. But at the end of the day, these guys are giving everything that they can for the time that they're on this floor.
Tonight's game, 7:30. Listen live on 1010 a.m. It's 45 degrees at 1 o'clock time in temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels.
Illuminated by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
on 1010XL.
1 o'clock hour is here. Lauren Brooks enjoying a nice midweek mini vacation. Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, Dylan Pockets, Denmark. We are with you until 2 p.m. It's an epic cool heating and air Tuesday. A lot of Jaguars coaching search talk. Let's change it up a little bit, Taylor. Let's dive into some other storylines in the wide world of sports. Here are this week's highlights.
Now, here's highlights. Unbelievable! On 1010XL.
Vanderbilt remains the fan-storming capital of America, as both the men's and women's basketball teams upset rival Tennessee in less than 24 hours.
Pierre's got it, going quickly. Blow by, lay in, no good. Rebound, Blake's got it at the horn! Hold on, there's point 4. Vanderbilt is rushing the floor. Pierre missed the lay-in, great looking. How about Blake following the play?
Capacity crowd on its feet. Chaz Lanier. 8 seconds to go. Lanier blocked at the rim. Vanderbilt saves it. Tanner's going to be fouled. My goodness.
Despite a loss, Jahmyr Gibbs shows the importance in drafting running backs as he breaks multiple tackles for 33 yards.
And they've got their teams right in the mix down to the final 8.
Here's Gibbs in space where he's so dangerous. Uh-oh! Gibbs finally taken out of bounds inside the 25. He's like on turbo here tonight.
Ohio State wins the national championship, and Kirk Herbstreit shocks the world by saying he loves Ohio State 700 times during the broadcast.
Against Tennessee and Oregon. Haven't had to employ that tonight. Judkins breaks free. Quinshon Judkins hits a sprint. And they'll finally run him down at the 5. An explosive play for Ohio State.
And I love all these Ohio State teams, but this team, because of what they went through to get to this point, you're just happy,
Look, no, Kirk.
The irony is, number one, that's Dylan Denmark's highlight, I'm told. Welcome to Heels Highlights, Dylan. We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, shout out Ohio State. The first time in history of college football, really football in general, a team had to overcome adversity to win a national title. Who knew?
Everyone counted them out. Didn't you know? Just like they counted the Chiefs out, Dylan. Taylor and I were workshopping how exactly our robot friend would phrase that highlight.
The caption.
I'm also told that Dan and Jeff, I guess I missed this portion of the drill this morning. I guess they went on a spirited rant as well.
Oh, yeah, they did.
About Ohio State. I know they were debating whether or not Kirk Herbstreit's son is on the team. Did we debunk that myth? Is that true? I know he has a son that Denny was training for a bit there, too.
I do not know if he's on the team, but you would think he was because the way he talks about it. And it's you're expecting it. He's an Ohio State guy, but I just, it's so cringy. It's hard to listen to, honestly, when you're watching a game and you're hearing someone call a game that is obsessed with that school and loves that school, and that's all they can talk about. And no matter what, even in the good plays, it's always like, okay, well, this happened, but Ohio State did this. And it's like, okay. This is getting old now at this point. And it's not just this game. It's been all of them throughout the playoffs.
I didn't see. Did Peter make an appearance, the dog?
Peter, I saw.
Okay.
Well, I didn't see actually on the broadcast, Peter, but I saw Kirk Herbstreit post a video of Peter sleeping in the press box. So Peter was there, but I didn't see him on the screen.
That's really all I'm listening to Herbstreit for these days. Is for Peter. Taylor, walk us through your highlight.
Yeah,
little Jahmyr Gibbs action.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is so much fun to watch, and honestly, in that moment, they ended up not even scoring on that drive, which is crazy because it was a 33-yard run that put them pretty much in the red zone, if not. And I'm trying to think of where exactly he ran to. I think it was at the 25, so almost to the inside the red zone on that one run after breaking multiple tackles, just running over guys up the middle. And he's just incredible to watch. And then also, obviously, some of the things that Ben Johnson does with Jahmyr Gibbs and creating space is also really fun to watch. But we've talked so much about running backs this year, and I don't want to stop because I feel like for years and years, it was all these stats about how none of the Super Bowl teams have highest paid running backs and how running backs they're disappearing and you can't draft a running back high and you don't need to spend on a running back. And then now we're back to this place where you're seeing all of these teams who have the best running backs had offenses that were the most explosive, offenses that could score the most points, the offenses that were the most unpredictable. And so I do think that here with a Tank Bigsby and a Travis Etienne, getting the right coach to be able to utilize these players in the way that you should. We have been shouting since week one of how Tank and Travis should be used, and we don't think it was used properly throughout the season with Press Taylor or whoever was calling plays. But I do think that you do have two backs that do different things and that you can utilize them similar to how Detroit was able to use their two backs.
DeAndre Swift, Ben Johnson, is that going to be a combination you're excited for?
Swift is okay. I don't love Swift. I didn't love the signing when they got him in the first place. He is a very horizontal runner, and you'll never see him go up the middle. He can create stuff sometimes from the outside, but also the line was so bad that there wasn't much to do with that. I love Roschon Johnson. I hope that Ben Johnson comes in and uses Roschon a lot more and uses maybe Swift more like a Gibbs, not the inside stuff, but when you get him on the outside and down the sideline, those type of plays, creative stuff, and creating open space for a DeAndre Swift. But I think that Roschon has the ability to be that downhill runner, and so I hope that he can bring that and utilize it. But it's what he's good at, but he also is really good. He's had one of the best offensive lines to do it behind. So
step one in Chicago, get that offensive line up and running. Step one in Jacksonville, regardless of who the head coach is, work on that offensive line. My highlight comes from the fan storming capital of America. If you loved the Vanderbilt student section and fans storming the field after upsetting #1 Alabama in Nashville and then parading down Broadway, bringing the uprights and throwing them into, I think it's the Tennessee River. I don't know what the name of the river is. Either way, if you thought that was fun, how about back-to-back upset victories for our Commodores over their hated rivals, the Tennessee Volunteers? The Vols on the men's side entered this weekend's Tennessee Clash, or what do we want to call it? What's like the nickname of Tennessee? Like the state itself. What's it called? Like the Sunshine State? Like I don't know
what theirs is called.
I don't know what theirs is called. Rocky Top State. I don't know what the nickname is called. Either way, nice little
volunteer state.
The volunteer. Okay,
I was about to guess that,
original.
but then I thought I was going to be silly.
It was a volunteer state clash that the Volunteers lost, 76-75 at the buzzer. Yes, former UNF Osprey Chaz Lanier, all-world transfer for Rick Barnes, goes up for what should have been an easy layup and gets absolutely stuffed at the rim by a player that, in my estimation, is probably like 3 or 4 inches shorter than him. Gets blocked at the rim. Vanderbilt with a massive victory over 6th-ranked Tennessee. And then the very next day, on the same exact court, 15th-ranked Tennessee on the women's side. You may have heard me mention earlier in the week and last week as well about Kim Caldwell, the head coach for Tennessee. Her due date was yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Looking forward to the baby bump. The baby bump's going to have to come after a 71-70 loss to Vanderbilt. Yes, Michaela Blakes, who would be the National Freshman of the Year if Sarah Strong did not exist in Storrs, Connecticut at UConn, and currently has a better scoring average than Paige Beckers. If Sarah Strong did not exist, Michaela Blakes would be the national freshman, of the year. She tips it in with 0.9 seconds left. Yeah. Vanderbilt back-to-back 1-point game-winning plays. wins over the Volunteers.
Ouch for
Sad
Tennessee.
vibes on Rocky Top this week. But hey, don't worry, both in action tonight. So maybe there's a chance they bounce back. But how about Vanderbilt, man?
Yeah,
I love the
good for
fact
them.
that
That's
the
fun.
good vibes have continued for the Doors even after college football season, sadly.
Yeah,
comes
that
to a close.
the women's basketball play was really fun to watch because what's her name? She checks it in.
Michaela Blakes, yeah, she's like all the way out the top of the arc.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I was
she inbounds it. Yes.
Because at first I see that, and then I see the tip in, and then I go back and I'm like, wait, that
She
was the
flew.
same girl.
She
that
flew from
checks the
35
ball
feet
in.
out,
Yeah.
and it's a testament to
Yeah.
what are we taught in Pee Wee basketball? Always box out and always follow your shot, because 9 times out of 10. These games are decided by effort.
Yep.
And Michaela Blake's with an awesome effort play to get the tip in. And
both in final seconds, too, to come down to just
both were
like
in the
those
final
finals.
5 seconds
Yeah.
of the game. Yep, obviously it was a defensive play for Vanderbilt,
Yeah.
and then they were able to dribble the ball out and ultimately win that game. But I love the fact that for Vanderbilt, the records keep crashing down. This was the Lady Commodores, so the Vanderbilt women's basketball team. This was their first win over a ranked team since 2022. It was their first win over Tennessee since 2014. It had
Wow.
been 10 years. And we know all the numbers that surrounded the Vanderbilt football team and Diego Pavia toppling Jalen Milroe
Fighting Jay
and
Cutler's.
Alabama. Listen, I'm here for it. I'm here for the Vanderbilt Renaissance. We were told at SEC Media Days 2 years ago, I was told that they would be the best team in America. It wasn't specified which sport, nor was it specified when, but I'm here for it. Vanderbilt, the team of destiny, 2024-2025 in all sports. Let's keep it rolling. Lauren Brooks may be off for the next few days, but she did leave us a Terminex Pest of the Week. Additionally, before we head to break, Dylan Denmark, we do have a giveaway. We have a pair of tickets to AEW Collision on Saturday night at Daly's Place. Those tickets are on sale now at allelitewrestling.com, but we have a pair of them that you can win right now. Taylor, what number do we want to be?
Let's say caller number 4.
Caller number 4, a pair of tickets to AEW Collision on Saturday night at Daly's Place could be yours. Give Denmark a call, 641-1010.
And now details on the sudden announcement that has captured the attention of the entire world and the most fabulous prize one could wish for. A lifetime supply of
1010XL.
Cannonball!
Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Mia here. New Year's resolutions are upon us, but let's be honest. By February, that gym membership will just be a $50 per month guilt trip. Why not take that cash and finally fix that leaky faucet, unclog that drain, or tune up that AC? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning have your back. Visit duckduckrooter.com or call today, 904-862-6769. Start the year off fresh. No leaks, no clogs, no excuses. Duck Rooter, 904-862-6769.
I open the door and take you inside the locker room to get you closer to the field, the players and coaches you care about.
Get a look at Hayes' blog on 1010XL.com.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Start the new year with a fresh look for your home. It's the Renewal by Andersen New Year's sales event. For a limited time, save 20% off on our energy-efficient windows and patio doors designed to keep your home comfortable year-round and your energy bills down. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation. But hurry, the special New Year's offer won't last. License number CGC 1527613.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $2,600 per ounce. Pay bills. Buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's win or go home with the AFC and NFC finals this weekend, so build your bankroll for the big game. The NFL playoffs are the ticket to the biggest game of the year, and all roads lead to New Orleans. This is your chance to get in on every high-stakes moment along the way. Your road to New Orleans starts now with MyBookie, the ultimate destination for bettors who want more. Whether you're backing the underdogs or riding with the favorites, every drive, every touchdown, every moment is an opportunity to win big. Kick off your 2025 right with risk-free Thursdays. Place a bet, and if it doesn't hit, MyBookie has your back. Dive into the Bet Boost tab to supercharge your picks and build that bankroll before the big game. MyBookie's online casino keeps the excitement going 24/7. Blackjack, roulette, slots, it's all there. Whether you're celebrating a big win or gearing up for the next round. Haven't joined? Now is the time. Use promo code 1010XL on your first deposit, and MyBookie will hook you up with an instant 50% deposit bonus because you deserve to start the new year off strong. Don't forget that promo code 1010XL on your first deposit, only with MyBookie.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
This is Hayes Carline here to help you break free from the chains of pest infestation. The talk of this town is Kingfish Pest Control. By now, many of your neighbors have already joined the Kingfish Revolution, leaving their homes and lawns protected and pest-free. Now it's your turn. Call Kingfish Pest Control and say goodbye to termites, ants, mosquitoes, and other annoying pests. Trust me, you'll get exceptional service and understand why your neighbors and I use Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Making a difference in our community for 2025? Paul Martinez here, President and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. The Boys and Girls Clubs offers a safe environment to youth every day with homework assistance, a hot meal, career readiness, and character and leadership programs. 57% of club alumni say the Boys and Girls Club saved their lives. Help us grow our outreach as we serve the kids in our community throughout our 59 clubs. Go to bgcnf.org to donate and learn more.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Jacksonville. When AEW returns home, it is the biggest party in all of professional wrestling. Daily's Place, the home of AEW. And on Saturday, January 25th, Collision returns live. It's a new year and a whole new era in AEW. And there's no better time to experience the excitement than right now. AEW Collision Homecoming, live from Daily's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Tickets on sale now, starting at $20 at AEWTIX.com.
The big game is almost here, and Sonny's Barbecue wants you to win a barbecue feast. Text Sonny's to the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010 for your chance to win. 641-1010.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Mia O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, Dylan Denmark hanging out with you till 2 o'clock here on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Lauren Brooks is venturing out into the snow.
For camping.
Yeah, a previously planned camping trip. It sounds like they're going.
Yeah.
They're in a cabin. They're in a cabin. I am excited for her to return, not because we want Lauren to bring me back down to earth with my coalition conversation and bringing you all to church in the 12 o'clock hour, but because I can't wait to hear the stories of how this expedition unfolds. Before she headed off on this mini vacay, Lauren did leave us who this week's today's Terminix Pest of the Day is.
Lauren Brooks here for today's Terminix Pest of the Day. Terminix came out to our house, and I can't say enough good things with everything they did on the outside and the inside of our house. Great customer service. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. There's a reason Terminix handles the pest control for Everbank Stadium, Daly's Place, ViStar, Veterans Memorial Arena, all of your favorite concert venues. Today's Pest of the Day, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who added left-hander Tanner Scott over the weekend, the best relief pitcher on the free agent market, to a 4-year, $72 million contract. That takes the Dodgers' luxury tax payroll to about $375 million, about $70 million more than that of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies. The Dodgers just keep spending money.
They keep spending money, Taylor.
We were just talking about that because they were Blake Snell, Michael Conforto, Blake Trian, Hernandez. They obviously got Sasaki, Tanner Scott, and then Kirby Yates is the most recent that was announced that they are signing. And it's insane. Like the amount, she's talking about the luxury tax, the amount of money they have deferred in contracts is also insane. There's a lockout's coming. Everything the Dodgers are doing, and I think the arguments go back and forth. And Mia, I've talked to a lot of people. Tell me your thoughts on this, because I think the immediate conversation for a lot of people is like, well, there's no cap. Like the MLB needs a cap because all these guys, like the Dodgers, are spending, and then other people's argument is more so, okay, well, then there's the Pirates owner who is raking in all of this money, but is pocketing the money rather than spending it on players. So how about we have a floor where you have to spend X amount of money, and it forces these owners to actually use the money that they've made and put a product on the field that people want to watch. Instead, there's one outlier in all of this, and it's the Rays. The Rays just find ways to not really have to spend money. They find all these players. They end up having to trade the players eventually, but they still are competitive and winning games, and this is without selling a ton of tickets. This is without having to have these big contracts. But for the most part, the teams like the Reds and the Mariners and the Pirates, they're not spending and they're not competing because of that, but they do have money to spend at least a base. They're just not. Their owners are not spending the money that they're raking in. Cubs, Tom Ricketts comes out and says, oh, we're breaking even every year. No, you are not. Shut up. You have money. You are not spending the money.
I've seen your house on Lake Michigan.
Yeah,
you have money, Tom.
You a liar. Yeah, so I do think that there is a balance. I think that it is a smart idea, though, Mia. Do you think to have a floor? Like, hey, teams have to spend at least X amount.
Yes, because I also think it holds everyone in that building accountable. Not that I would speculate that anyone's putting a little extra dough in their pockets, but I am reading David Halberstam's collection of his sports, prolific war and sports writer of the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s of the 20th century. And he goes back to an expose he did back in the 50s when the Yankees GM at the time essentially played hardball with even some of their most famous players of all time because he was trying to cut corners and pocket a little bit of the money himself. Because if he only paid, if he says to, Whitey Ford, and this is obviously a little bit further along in the 60s, but if he says to Whitey Ford, if you win 12 games, I'll give you a $60,000 a year bonus, which at the time was obviously pretty sizable. And let's say Whitey wins 11 games, but the Yankees win the World Series and he's the MVP. Well, the rule was 12.
You had to hit
12. So therefore, that $60,000 I am now putting in my pocket and reallocating elsewhere. And I think that a floor would, at the very least, perhaps create more accountability. And I'm not suggesting that that's what owners are doing, but I think it would truly force their hand of this is where you need to spend money and allocate certain resources. And quite frankly, maybe there needs to be some sort of advisory system for these owners. Hell, I mean, in the NFL, I know we would really enjoy that. Not that we have an issue with spending money here in Jacksonville, but I do think, again, some sort of advisory system to say to these owners, these are the thresholds you need to meet as an owner of a Major League Baseball team and as an operator, and facilitator of money in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I think it's frustrating, and from the outside, it's annoying, but I don't think you can be mad at the Dodgers. You have to be mad at your team for not spending money.
And look, the Dodgers have figured out a way to circumvent the salary cap. We always joke the cap's not real. It literally is not real in Major League Baseball, and the Dodgers keep finding loopholes. And
so if you
credit
can
to
do
them.
it, yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, credit to them for being able to find all of these ways to get these guys. They're about to have the best lineup, the best rotation, and the best bullpen in baseball. And a lot of this money, like I said, a lot of it is deferred, and they figured out ways to get all around this. But be mad at your own team. I'm furious at the Cubs, and I've been yelling that for years that they don't spend, because I know the Cubs have money, and the biggest contract they hand out is to a Jason Hayward. And it's like, come on, at some point, if you want to compete, you say you want to. You say you want to be one of the better baseball teams in the league. You say you want to compete with the Dodgers, but then you come nowhere close to even battling what they can do when it comes to when you do have the opportunity to do so.
The Shohei contract still. Like,
it's insane. That one
still,
is wild.
There's gonna be a day and age where like they're gonna literally just be like, okay, here's like your cap number is $1,
yeah,
and we're giving you $60 million up front. Here you go. Yeah. That's a 1-year deal. We'll figure it out next year. Yeah. Once we reevaluate the books, I'll give you $2 next year as your cap number. I'm exaggerating, folks, but yes, it's. I don't know.
I mean, we're also about to see, we're close to seeing that $1 billion deal, which we were thinking Soto was going to get, and it was close. What did his end up being? 760 or something like that? I'm trying to remember the exact number, but we were close. We were thinking he was going to
765.
Get 765. Yeah.
So the Yankees offered 755 or 760, but they wouldn't give him his own suite. So heaven forbid.
Gosh. So we are going to see very soon a $1 billion deal in the MLB, and I know people immediately, when they paid Shohei that amount, or when they pay Soto, they're like, oh, not me. I don't want to do that. If you want to compete, you've got to. And I was talking about that in crosstalk with Mike Dempsey. When you're talking about college football, that's the world we live in now. You're going to have to. That Ohio State, $20 million on their roster. To keep up, you are going to have to dish out this money, even if you think it's wrong, even if you don't like the thought of doing it.
Show me the money. Also show some love for our friends at Epic Cool Heating and Air. Perhaps you want to do that. Visit them at epichvacservice.com. You can also give them a call today at 904-859-EPIC. They bring you each and every Tuesday here on Helmets and Heels. So give them a call. Mention 1010XL for exclusive discounts for military, police, and first responders. We'll circle back to the NFL head coaching carousel when we return. One more segment to go on a Epic Cool Heating and Air Tuesday on Helmets and Heels.
Your home for Florida Gators basketball is 1010XL.
The number 5 Gators grapple with the Gamecocks in a clash at Colonial Life Arena, Florida, South Carolina. Tomorrow at 6:30 on 1010 AM.
What's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T here, and it's a brand new year, which means a brand new you, especially in the bedroom. So if you're ready to make 2025 the year to level up where it counts, let me make it a little easier for you. Get yourself some Blue Chew. They've got a chewable tablet that has the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxyn. That means you're getting top-tier performance, my boy, without leaving the house. Blue Chew comes right to your front door in a discreet package, so your neighbors won't even know what's going on. But you will. No doctor's offices and no pharmacy run. Just licensed medical providers helping you find the right prescription. And guess what? They're made right here in the USA. Oh, and did I mention it's free? Yeah, you heard me. Your first month is free. So what you waiting for? Visit BlueChew.com and get a consultation. And start your year off with confidence to keep things interesting in that bedroom. Get that Blue Chew at BlueChew.com, baby. Let's make this year unforgettable.
Mia here for MyBookie. It's win or go home with the AFC NFC Finals this weekend, so build your bankroll for the big game. The NFL playoffs are the ticket to the biggest game of the year, and all roads lead to New Orleans. This is your chance to get in on every high-stakes moment along the way. Your road to New Orleans starts now using MyBookie. It's the ultimate destination for bettors who want more. Whether you're backing the underdogs or riding with the favorites, every drive, every touchdown, every moment is an opportunity to win big. Kick off your 2025 right with risk-free Thursdays. Yup, you heard that right. Place a bet, and if it doesn't hit, MyBookie refunds you your money. Dive into the Bet Boost tab to supercharge your picks and build that bankroll before the big game in February. MyBookie's online casino keeps the excitement going 24/7. Blackjack, roulette, slots, it's all there, whether you're celebrating a big win or gearing up for the next round. Haven't joined? Now's the time. Use promo code 1010XL on your first deposit. MyBookie will hook you up with an instant 50% bonus because you deserve to start 2025 off right.
Value or flavor?
price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for 10, the pork and rib combo for 12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
New year, new beginnings, and a new roof. Start 2025 with peace of mind and take advantage of Universal Roof and Contracting's limited time offer. 15% off all roof repairs and replacements. From leaks to full replacements, call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection today. This special New Year deal ends January 31st. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners, so you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
Integrity, persistence, and standing up for victims. It's what you want in a personal injury case and what my friend and lawyer Glenn Cohen brings to every case for over 40 years. Call Glenn at Barnes & Cohen.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
You don't think this would be a good moment to text somebody?
There's never a bad moment to share your opinion on the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Share your opinion
as soon as possible
at 641-1010.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Don't go through another year with all that high-interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Prosser here, and Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and personal loans, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. You can. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free quote now with no hard credit pull at 904-999-1508. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
As we wrap up today's program, let's take a look back at our question of the day. Are you mad about Ben Johnson heading to the Chicago Bears? A, because you wanted Ben Johnson in Duval. B, because I want Trent Baalke out. Or C, I'm not mad. That poll placed on both of our X channel and the MyBookie Digital Studio chat line. Yes, you can indeed vote on polls on YouTube as well. We'll begin there where 94 votes have been cast. 64% of you say you're mad about Ben Johnson to the Bears because you wanted Trent Baalke out. Meanwhile, on X, we have almost 500 votes. And of those 439 voters, 62.6% of you say the reason you are mad about Ben Johnson to the Bears is because you want Trent Baalke out. 15.7% of you say it is because you wanted Ben Johnson in Duval County. And as one Heeligan pointed out on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, Taylor Dahl, is that kind of an indictment on the candidate that, yes, will now be leading your Chicago Bears, but for so many here in Jacksonville, it was do or die. You needed Ben Johnson. If the reason you needed Ben Johnson was solely to get rid of Trent Baalke.
Yeah, and I honestly think some people might be reading that a little bit different. I think some people, there wasn't a person that I've personally talked to in the city that wasn't talking about wanting Ben Johnson and thinking that that was the way that is what would fix the offense here in Jacksonville. I do also think, though, that it was, to them, it felt like a win-win because they don't want Trent Baalke so badly that they were like, oh, okay, well, Ben Johnson hates him. Shad said he may get rid of him if the right coach comes in with this plan and he likes the plan and he'll move forward with it from there. So it's a win-win because you get the coach you want and then you also get rid of somebody that you've been trying to get rid of for years now. So I don't think that most of those people are saying that they didn't want Ben Johnson. I just think that the biggest priority, they've known that there's been a sore spot in this organization for a while, and it's kind of pointed to Trent Baalke. And so I think that is number one for a lot of people, just because they don't think that they don't like the drafts. They don't like the free agencies. They don't like a lot of the moves that Trent Baalke's done. So even with the right coach, even if Liam Cohen comes in, a lot of people think that even with the right coach, it's not going to change while Trent Baalke's here.
While I agree with the sentiment, it is, I mean, at the end of the day, shouldn't you want a coach because you want the coach? Just playing devil's advocate here. Playing devil's advocate.
Like I said, I don't think they don't not want the coach.
But the focus,
I just think the number one is the hatred for Trent Baalke.
Well, one place that there is a general manager vacancy and a head coaching vacancy is the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn interviewing as we speak in person with the team that drafted him once upon a time, the team that first employed him after his playing days were over as a scout. I agree with what Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network says, which is, I don't think they're going to let him get out of the building in Florham Park today.
Yeah, I would expect Aaron Glenn to have the opportunity to pick between these two teams. Of course, the Jets, a lot to like here. He was drafted by the Jets. He was an all-pro with the Jets. He chose to visit the Jets first, and that's pretty significant because what we've seen in some of these coaching searches, Tom, is if you were in the building, some people get to the building, unlike Ben Johnson, but if you were in the building, if a team likes you and you like them, you can just stop it right there, get hired, and keep it moving. The Saints await the next day. My understanding is he does plan to go to the Saints on Wednesday, but we've seen in coaching searches, plans can change if a marriage ends up happening. A lot to watch with Aaron Glenn and the Jets tomorrow. And if that does not work out, I would expect the Dallas Cowboys to have interest as well.
Now, a caveat has been thrown into, a monkey wrench, if you may, into that situation. Not with the New York Jets, because Aaron Glenn, to my knowledge, is up in Florham Park right now at One Jets Drive interviewing with Woody Johnson, the 33rd team, and the rest of their search committee. However, his interview for the New Orleans Saints, the other interview that Ian alluded to there, has now been rescheduled because, wait for it, snow, severe weather in New Orleans. So because of that, they're rescheduling all the interviews this week. Mike Kafka was supposed to be today. Aaron Glenn, Anthony Weaver to Wednesday, or we're supposed to be Wednesday. Those interviews are now going to have to be Thursday, Friday. And for Aaron Glenn, that's only if he gets out of the building in New Jersey without an offer to become the next Jets head coach and doesn't accept.
And it is interesting because it shows that's how much can change in just 4 or 5 days. Because when I was having conversations with people on Friday, they were 95% sure that Aaron Glenn was going to be with the Saints. I mean, like, this guy was like, I would put my whole salary on that Aaron Glenn ends up in New Orleans. And that was Friday, and obviously things change and conversations are had, and now weather is happening, so we'll see how that goes. But I do think we're seeing criticisms. I don't think we talked much about this after the Lions game of both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. So weird to me, first of all. Very strange. I think that if anything, Aaron Glenn has made it through a season where he lost the majority of his defensive players at some point throughout the season and was still able to bring these guys off the street. Like literally on a Monday would be like, oh, we have to bring this guy in the building because we have nobody. And then that guy would play on Sunday and make some sort of big play. And it looked like they were ready. And it looked like they had been there for weeks. So I think you have to credit Aaron Glenn for what he was able to do in Detroit despite losing the majority of everybody. And I also think that if you were going to tell me that one game makes or breaks a person, that's also a little crazy to me too. But I do think that if this is where the Jets want to go, then this is honestly, things are swinging their way because now other things are postponed and you can say like, intensify these conversations right now.
I also think, to your point, Taylor, some of the tweets I'm reading from Detroit Lions fans, the copium, the level of copium is fascinating. Here's one. You can't convince me that bro, as in Ben Johnson, was fully focused on the playoffs when he got hired 2 days after being eliminated. The NFL needs to make a rule on this. This is from someone who is a aspiring sports writer on X. Quote tweeting Adam Schefter's report that Ben Johnson has been busy assembling a star-studded coaching staff. Quote, he's been busy assembling his staff. The game was 2 days ago. Do you see why I'm upset? I'm here to tell you that Ben Johnson assembling his staff, the preliminary measures to do so occurred 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily Ben who was doing it. Trust me, you weren't questioning his preparation and his commitment to the Detroit Lions 2 months
when
ago.
When they were winning 15 games.
When his agent was busy reaching out to other agents to gauge interest, put them into a binder and say, hey, here's the 4 or 5 names that we're going to present to all of these teams we're interviewing with for each of these positions. And once we get the job, we will be calling and checking in with those 3 or 5 names.
Yeah, I think people like are picturing Ben just sitting at home, like on his phone, calling all of these people and being like, hey, do you want to work for me if I get a head coaching job? Like, that's not how the whole process works. And I feel like it is a weird system, the way that it works, because of people playing games and preparing for games and also interviewing for positions and flying out. And like, they're not flying if you're coaching, but you're planning on, as soon as I lose, I'm going to have to fly out. And so you're planning all of these things, but at the same time, it has to be this way, because if not, then some of these teams that do need coaches aren't going to be able to talk to the guy they want to until the end of January, mid-February, and then the combine is right around the corner. And so then you have to put a staff together, and then you're also trying to worry about the draft and free agency and all of this stuff. Like, there's a very short period of time that you can figure out this coaching decision, and if you are a coach that's being considered, a very short period of time where you get to get everything together, so you need as much time as you can during this offseason.
496 says, no one cares about the Bears, talk about the Jaguars, so let's cool down with them.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since 87.
This same Heelbilly, thank you, 496, also wants us to talk about Liam Cohen. We spent most of the first hour talking about Liam Cohen. Go back, listen to the program on demand. I laid out all the reasons as to why he has not been requested, to my knowledge and to public knowledge, by any of the other 6 teams that have or had head coaching vacancies. I also debunked the myth that he was fired by Sean McVay. By my reporting, by Taylor's reporting, that is not true. And we also outlined all the reasons why he should be, and I believe he is, the leading contender for the head coaching vacancy here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation about, and I pivoted quick of saying here, this is what happened with Ben Johnson, why it happened, and let's pivot the conversation, because what you have to do now is figure out the right coach here in Jacksonville and what fits. And I do think that when you have these conversations about head coaches, and this is something I've learned, you kind of already knew, but I've learned a lot the last 5-6 months talking to people around the league of how these teams that are winning this year and the teams you want to form your kind of outline, your blueprint of how to build an organization after, what they've done and what has worked. And every single one of them has said, number one, coaching matters. Coaching is this biggest. You've got to get the coaching hire right. And from there, you also want to develop and build your team off of what that coach likes and designs, but then the coach has to be also open-minded to being able to be like, okay, let me take a little bit of this, let me take a little bit of a McVay, let me take a little bit of this person, and mesh surrounding the people that you have on this roster. So I do think that Liam Cohen, and that's what we talked about in the first hour, Mia, is that was what Liam Cohen did in Tampa Bay. And so when we're talking about why the back and forths, like you said, go back and listen. But long story short, he had some loyalties to Sean McVay. And when McVay wanted him to come back, this is what was said out of his mouth, out of Liam Cohen's mouth. He went back to help out Sean McVay when KOC left to go to Minnesota.
And to be, if only in name, an NFL offensive coordinator. That for some of you out there, checking that box is very, very important, if in name only.
To have that offensive coordinator role, but also he likes to call plays, and he wanted to be the person who is able to play design and physically call these plays in a game, and that is why he went back to college. And so there are reasonings on each side of why he had those jumps, and to me, they're valid reasons, and to me, it's reasons that show that he, in his mind, was like, I can be a person who can lead a football team, and I want all of the aspects of all of it. I want the title of the offensive coordinator in the NFL, but I want the experience of actually calling plays on the football field.
By the way, I had a league source tell me after the abysmal biggest defeat, largest margin of defeat, I should say, in Jaguars history back in November. I had a league source say to me then, if I'm hiring the next offensive mind for the Jaguars, I'm probably going the college route because I think that's the way the league is headed. Well, it's not a college mind, but it's someone who spent a good chunk of time
in
there.
college, yeah.
Speaking of a Hall of Famer at the collegiate level, let's say hello to Leon Searcy.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
All right, Liam. Wow. I said Liam, not Leon. That tells you where our brain's at today. Man.
That's what we were talking about.
Oh, man, Leon. Here is our question of the day on Helmets and Heels. I'm curious your take on this. Are you mad about Ben Johnson going to the Chicago Bears? A, because you wanted Ben Johnson to be the head coach of the Jaguars. B, because you believe that Ben Johnson becoming head coach would mean Trent Baalke would be out. Or C, you're not mad.
Ooh. I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset that he didn't take it into consideration. I mean, he took it into consideration. I'm a little upset that he's not coming here. I had him and Joe Brady at the top of my list. Just for the innovative offensive schemes a call that I thought would help Trevor a lot. But I understand why he made the decision. Maybe he saw a little bit more upside with Caleb Williams than he did Trevor. And then maybe he's familiar with that division, having gone up against it, and maybe that's the reason why he stayed in Chicago. So, you can't fault the man for making that kind of decision. But I think here in Duval, I think that no one else thinks that this job is as appealing as we do, comparable to, what the national media looks at it. So you've got to take that into consideration.
So would you be A, B, or C in that scenario?
You actually wanted, just wanted Trent out?
No, I wanted Trent out.
Taylor defended the voters, and she said that's the priority.
I feel like this is most people's probably response is, yes, I wanted him, but I really wanted Trent out.
Yeah, I kind of wanted Ben to come here and say, hey, listen, I'll take the job, but Trent got to go.
Like embarrass him a little bit in the meeting, just be like.
That part.
And we don't know. He may have very well said that, but we don't know because he also took the Chicago Bears job without actually going in person for an interview.
Wow.
Yeah. Leon.
No, I was going to say, what's the deal with the Zooms? Guys don't.
Oh, yeah.
They
just Zoom. Well, apparently he's had the Bears job earmarked and circled, and one of his very good friends is the number 3 in command, the director of player personnel. So he felt comfortable enough.
Well, that's the wave of the new age because I know when I went for a job interview as an offensive line coach at FIU, I was on the big board.
Oh, yeah.
And Mario was asking me questions about this, and I was like, I taught you half the stuff you know.
Like, why are you asking me this? Leon, speaking of, because I do want to, you hurt my feelings a little bit with your 1988 and counting tweet.
I know.
Fair enough. But also, there are kids graduating college right now that haven't even seen Miami in a national championship.
That's true. That's right. But
in a recruiting hotbed, by the way.
We exist.
And Jeremiah Smith chose Ohio.
Yeah, we might be ancient relics, but we're still a part of college football.